Multi-talented, multitasking, multi-everything people out there. Take it away.
Find your glory, write your story, fearless feet will carry you. Time you own it, take your moment, be a fire burning through. Hustling from night until morning, grinding it out, it won't be long. Feel your power, it's your hour, you inspire, you are strong.
Enjoy your Zoa. No applause? You're all fired.
Now that you've reached the stage in your life where quality television is important, Nubian TV is a black network that speaks to your lifestyle. Nubian TV is the world's first digital network devoted to the upscale and political lifestyles of black people. Nubian TV's programming includes politics, travel, fashion, food, automotive, arts and culture, civil rights, music, and more. Watch now on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, or watch globally at nubiantv.net. Nubian TV, it's what you want to watch.
Come with me if you want to live a more delicious life. Oh, maybe we should get in the van.
In this world, we don't get to control much. The past, male pattern baldness.
Leggies.
Got one right now. The urge to puff that bubble wrap. But there is one thing we do get to choose every single day. What we eat. Welcome to the Sonic Department of Research and Deliciousment. We have everything you want, didn't know you wanted, and some things you didn't know were possible. Because we believe if you're not having fun, you're not living free. So come on, let's live a little.
Hey, good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Money! Are you ready? They are ready.
Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here this morning.
It's always a good time. That's what the show's about.
That's good.
Really good. Very good.
Coming in hot, Jimmy, coming in hot.
It's far from elementary.
Oh, good morning, America.
I'm not going to try to strut like Michael or anything.
I have known George a long, long time.
Have you ever gotten him to dance?
Look at that face.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be there.
I am here and so happy.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'm in.
That tells you something when Snoop Dogg's in. Michael, George, where?
Ginger.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.
Well, hello to you, and you. Welcome into another edition of Braylon's Virtual Tour Live. Glad to have all you here. It's day 3 of the Diddy trial, Cassie Ventura Part 2. Welcome in. Glad to have all of you here. Had a great show this morning, breaking down the Haley Bailey DDG court-approved restraining order. That was a good time this morning, but now we're here for Part 2 of Cassie Ventura's testimony. So it just got done, about an hour or so ago. So with that being said, Ire is waiting, Low is available, but either way, we are live on tour. Turn out the music here. Yes, indeed. And then let me take down this iconic intro here. You see the virtual tour background. Yes, you do. You hear that virtual tour music. Yes, you do. And then there is me. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. Glad to have all of you here in the building with me. Let's get to the getting and doing what we do here. It ended, the day ended for the third day of the trial, rather, at 4:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So about 2 hours ago, really. So here we go. We're going to get our updates here from NBC News. And I'm going to just read it straight, while, of course, giving you commentary as well. So glad to have you all here. All right, y'all. Here we go from NBCnews.com. Shonda Combs trial recap. Cassie Ventura testified she was blackballed with freak-off sex videos. Ventura's 2023 lawsuit against Combs became a framework for the government's sprawling case against him. Okay, here we go, y'all. So where the sex trafficking trial stands, rather. Cassie Ventura returned to the stand today for more bombshell testimony as the government's highest profile witness in the trial against Shonda Combs. Combs' ex-girlfriend told the court that she was frequently physically abused by the rap mogul, suffered multiple medical issues as a result of constant freak-offs, the drug-fueled orgies allegedly orchestrated by Combs, that was blackballed with sex videos. She testified that Combs' raped her in 2018. Ventura will return to the witness stand tomorrow, when the defense will begin with cross-examination. The jury was shown security video showing Combs assaulted Ventura at a Los Angeles hotel in 2016, as well as sensitive video and still images documenting the injury she sustained after the alleged incidents of abuse. Combs faces 5 criminal counts, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs has ferociously denied the allegations against him. This live briefing may include graphic descriptions of sexual violence. For resources on sexual assault, call the National Sexual Assault Telephone Hotline. Sign up for the Diddy on Trial newsletter for key developments and analysis, and listen to Dateline's nightly podcast. Okay. So with that being said, let's get into it, make it do what it do here, okay? Cassie says she sold her suit with Diddy for $20 million. At the end of her direct testimony, Cassie Ventura says she sold her lawsuit with Combs for $20 million. Ventura said her attorney initially reached out to Combs and his representatives to ask about compensating her $30 million after informing them of her plans to write a book about her relationship with Combs. She says she considered the book part of her trauma therapy. She did not receive any money at that time. Defense's cross-examination planned for tomorrow. U.S. District Court Judge Irene Sarian sent jurors home for the day, telling them to return Thursday at 9:30 a.m. on the dot. That's when Combs' defense lawyers are set to begin what could be a lengthy cross-examination for Cassie Ventura. You know, I really don't know if the defense is really going to be able to make it do what it do because of this clip right here. I'm going to keep bringing up this clip every time because like I said, I don't know if one attorney would ever say this out loud, because like the mindset of the defense is, did he do the crime? Did he do it? Right? To use the title of a documentary, right? With 400 lawsuits against him, right? And everything in between, and that damning video that everyone's seen, to the point where the defense did not want the jury to see Cassie pregnant. Yeah, the defense is struggling to go smuggling here. I know it's only day 3, but child, just watch this.
This is the type of indictment you would expect from someone in the mafia.
I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. He is very eager to tell his story.
They're going to show that video over and over and over about what happens to women that won't change their stories.
His reputation is over.
The United States government, they start making this case as a takedown of a successful black man.
TMZ presents The Downfall of Diddy, The Indictment, now streaming on Tubi.
They call them freak-offs. But, you know, back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes.
If these are genuinely threesomes, how do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
The U.S. Attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
2 more times.
Sure what the baby oil has to do with anything?
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need.
The U.S. Attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
Yeah, I hope the defense can handle themselves tomorrow against a woman that actually has been in a damaged relationship. Oh, Lord, let's roll on. Let's roll on. Right here, Cassie's second day on the stand wraps up in general. Ventura kept her composure today, answering questions in a calm, matter-of-fact tone, but she became more visibly emotional as she described Combs allegedly raping her in 2018, and she broke down in tears shortly after she recounted her trauma, ideation, and personal shame. Ventura's direct testimony ends. Ventura wrapped up her direct testimony, telling jurors she took the witness stand to rid herself of the shame, the guilt she has carried. Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson asked Ventura why she put herself through this process. I can't carry this anymore. The shame, the guilt, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. People aren't disposable. That part. Ventura said the jury is now on a short break before cross-examination is expected to begin. And, you know, I have to give a shout out to Cassie, right? Because here's the thing. When it comes to this case, right, a lot of people think that it was unnecessary and unwarranted, right? That, you know, Cassie should have said this a long time ago. But here's the thing, right? People don't have the right to tell you what's unnecessary and unwarranted, especially if someone is trying to let you know something that's coming down the line to help you, and then you shun it. Even though that's your decision to shun it, that doesn't mean that wasn't necessarily true. And I think what's going to end up happening in this case is that for the people who think it was unnecessary and unwarranted, they're going to look really stupid. Because how dare you go up against a woman who's actually been through this relationship and you're on the outside looking at it? And I promise you, it's always the people They are drinking their water, minding their own business, and trying to move on purpose, in their purpose and of their purpose, that tries to give the warning signal. And guess what? That person who did not listen ends up being eaten by the wolf, metaphorically. And that's everybody with this case. So, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if you let it fly, it must apply. You know what I mean? So, yes, indeed. All right, here. Yes, the jury is now on a short break before cross-examination is expected to begin. Cassie says that Combs raped her in 2018. Cassie Ventura testified that Combs raped her in 2018 after she said they were supposed to have a closure conversation. She said the two went out to dinner at a restaurant in Malibu, California. She recalled the conversation being nice and playful. At that time, she said she was already in a relationship with her now husband, Alex Fine. Combs eventually took her back to her apartment. Ventura told the court, "I went inside. He came in. I went inside. He came in and raped me on the living room floor," Ventura alleged in court. "I remember crying and saying no. It was fast. His eyes were black. He wasn't himself. It was like somebody taking something from you." She said after that incident, the two were intimate voluntarily one other time. Court shown picture of Ventura with a black eye. The court was shown an up-close picture of Ventura's eyebrow and black eye. When asked who gave her the black eye, Ventura responded, "Sean." Combs prevented his family from seeing Ventura after she had sustained any injury. She said, "He told me to make sure that his son couldn't see me like that. The bruises on my face," Ventura told the court. So, the first day of the trial, you had your daughters walk out because of the disgusting, horrid, and graphic nature of Daniel Phillip, the escort who had intercourse with Cassie during these freak-offs, relieve himself yellow Gatorade in her mouth. And you didn't want your son to see a woman with a black eye. So you did what you wanted to do, but forgot your responsibilities at home. Okay. Oh, my Lord. Cassie says she broke up with Kid Cudi after Combs' threats. Cassie Ventura said 2011, while she was home in Connecticut during the holiday season, she called off her relationship with Scott Miss Cudi, otherwise known as rapper Kid Cudi, after Combs threatened them both. "I had broken off the relationship with Scott Miss Cudi. There was too much uncertainty if we continued to see each other," she said, adding that there was danger, and Sean said he was going to hurt the both of us. At one point, she said Combs told her that she was out of the country. Scott's car would be blown up, and it did blow up. Cassie said her mother took pictures of her bruises. Cassie Ventura told the jury that she went to see her mother in Connecticut after allegedly being physically beaten by Combs. Ventura said that she raised her shirt, allowing her mother to take photos of the bruises to her lower back and butt, along with wounds on her right thigh. "I believe I told her this was the first time, and I didn't tell her about the freak-offs," Ventura said in court, adding that she felt she couldn't justify it to anyone, especially my mom. And you know, just imagine, if you will, being a mother. It's one thing for moms to birth sons, but it's another thing for a mom to birth a daughter. And for Cassie's mom to not have known what was going on, to see the physical manifestation of what her daughter has went through. You think of, dad not do enough, this, that, and the third. And it's heartbreaking to have a woman question her womanhood because a man could not respect his manhood, do the right thing. It's fucking disgusting. Cassie recalled another alleged incident of physical violence. Cassie Ventura recalled another incident in which she alleged Combs beat her, saying he got angry with her after she was at a party at Prince's house. Prince had a house in Minnesota, by the way, everybody. That was the home of Prince. He never really lived anywhere else. I'm sure he had vacation homes, but that was his primary residence in Minnesota. Ventura went to the basement, believing the late artist was going to play music. She told the court, I caught a glimpse of him Combs, so I ran out as fast as I could because I thought he was angry. Ventura recalled, I knew he was angry. His facial expression came after me. Later at a Los Angeles hotel room where she was staying, she said Combs beat me up and threw luggage at me. I had bruising on my face, knots on my head. Cassie described the alleged beating that happened inside car. Ventura recalled a violent outburst by Combs that she said happened early in their relationship that left her shocked and angry. Ventura said that she had spotted Combs flirting in a restaurant with another woman, and when they got back to their car, the rapper not to be around an outburst that allegedly happened in either 2007 or 2008. So, like Jonathan Majors did what he did in the car towards Jabari. And somehow he was able to marry Megan Good. Yeah. And this is the thing, right? This is my thing with it. If you get upset by your girl being kind to a man or kind to a woman, then maybe that's a you problem. So if you could keep Cassie from another man or another woman, maybe you weren't good enough to have her. Shocking concept, huh? Let's roll on. The rapper knocked me around in an outburst that allegedly happened in either 2007 or 2008. He hit me on the side of my head. I fell to the floor on the Escalade. Ventura said he shook me up and scared me quite a bit, so I got out of the car. I was shocked. I didn't understand what happened and why he was so angry. He said I knew his capabilities, access to power, and threats he made. So there is that there. Each juror has their own screen to view sensitive images. Post-lunch proceedings were delayed as the court put finishing touches on installing personal video screens for each juror, so sensitive video and still images are shown for public view. So, question to the court in New York: y'all don't have like security guards doing night watch or anything, and there could have been a crew to install this last night? I'm just saying. Because, you know, every day they end around, 5 o'clock? The trial days end at 5 o'clock. So, anyway, moving on. Ventura identified herself and others engaged in various sex acts as the jury paid very close attention. The courtroom was silent. One female juror nodded as Ventura identified people, and one male panelist took written notes. That's me, Ventura said of an image that she had maybe or applied to her. Remember when I told y'all that there is no way in hell that not one of those jurors is not taking notes? If you think that no video, maybe not video, because, you know, obviously, you know, you can't, you know, take actual video. There's a rule from 1946 that we read, I think, day one of the trial here on our channel, that said, you know, for a federal case, you can't do it. But in the same token, that does not mean that somebody does not have their, you know, that has the voice recorder on, right? And they're just leaving the voice recorder next to them, right? Because here's the thing, when you do a voice recording, you can have the voice recorder on and the screen will go black. It'll still be recording. Which is probably the move that most of the people at the courtroom are probably doing. Well, let me say not most, some maybe. Video's a little bit harder, obviously. Unless you know, do the camera app and then you just do that, right? You just have the phone flipped this way, or you have your selfie cam, right? It just record video and it captures the audio. So, not saying to do it, people of New York, okay? I'm just saying the quiet part out loud. That's my job. All right, let's roll on here. Photo tense on the sidewalk as people wait to enter into court. That brother, look at this brother right here. Look at this brother. He is chillaxing in those red shoes. You're like, what you taking this picture of me for? You see the line there. Looks like it was raining there. That looks like a sauna. Looks like one of those, mobile saunas that you can, put your arms out and everything and cleanse yourself. And there's a full tent. Here's the thing. I don't know how you would do that in New York, because New York, listen, no shade to y'all, but it's populated with 1 million people, right? And so pickpocketers and criminals and everything in between. I'm not saying all you New Yorkers are that, but like, I don't know, child. Like, yeah. But hey, listen to each their own. Tends to suggest that some people spent the night in line to enter federal court for Combs' sex trafficking trial. On Monday, at least 20 fans of Combs camped out overnight ahead of the court doors opening. Courtroom sketch shows hotel video as Cassie testifies. The security video of Combs assaulted Cassie Ventura at a Hotel 2016 is played as she testified in court today. And I just kind of noticed, like, from every court sketch, he's not paying attention to the courtroom at all. Not at all. Like, if I go back to, hey, Yolanda Cameron, good to see you, my friend. How you feeling? I hope all is well with you. Good to see you. Yes, indeed, my friend. It's always good to see you. Let me pull up our channel here. So, like, for the first day, so let's go to the channel here. So for the first day here, as you can see, there's the lawyer there, and Diddy, he looks like he's looking at the lawyer. And then here, when Cassie's crying, he's still looking back. So it looks like he is very displacent from these courtroom sketches, from what I've seen. So very interesting inside the court. And by the way, if you're wondering why there's courtroom sketches, there is no video or audio of what's happening. So they have to go by this. And shout out to the courtroom sketch artists, because these are not easy to do, because you're capturing what's happening in court in real time, and then it has to be translated and colored and everything in between. Cassie's more composed in testimony today. Cassie Ventura appears less outwardly emotional during today's testimony, not breaking down in tears on the stand as she did several times yesterday. Here's the thing, right? That I don't get. Why in the hell? And I get why she needs to be composed, because stay in control of the narrative, but also too, that's her pain. No one has the right to tell Cassie what her pain should or should not be. Just keeping it a bug. I never got that, but okay. Not breaking down in tears on the stand. She did several times yesterday. Combs' ex-girlfriend spoke composed today, speaking in a calm but somber tone of voice. She's wearing a gray turtleneck dress and a black fur and a black coat in court. Court is in recess for lunch break. U.S. District Judge Aaron Surian sent the jurors off to lunch with the hopes of having proceedings resume at 1:15 p.m. Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, is expected to still be on the witness stand when court resumes. Okay, so does that mean everybody getting lunch? Is she eating lunch on the witness stand? Like, hello, this woman is pregnant. Just saying. Cassie's text to Combs, "You treat me like Ike Turner." Let's talk about it. Prosecutors presented a text message in exchange in which Cassie Ventura described how badly Combs allegedly abused her. "You treat me like Ike Turner," Ventura wrote to Combs, a reference to the volatile marriage the late musician was known to have had with his ex-wife, the late Tina Turner. Rest in peace to her. "He was abusive and controlling. He was physically abusive. He put me down a lot as much as I would be built up. The sheer embarrassment how he treated me in front of other people," Ventura testified. Combs. Cassie recalls gashing her face while fighting off Combs. Cassie Ventura recalled a time when Combs attacked her and gashed her face in 2013, then forced her to go to a plastic surgeon to treat the wound. Really? Really, bro? Really? Now, God forbid, and I'm going to go there, I don't give a fuck. God forbid, if one of your daughters, Diddy, dated a man that had your tendencies, would you be here for one of your daughters having a gash in her face? I don't think you would. And I'm not wishing that either for you dumb fucks in the back. I'm just bringing it home. Okay? Okay. That made no damn sense. Sean came in. I was asleep. He was trying to attack me. We went into the master bedroom. My friends were jumping on his back trying to stop him. She testified, I cut my eyebrow on the corner of the bed. Sean threw me onto the bed frame. I had significant gash. I did go to the ER. It was a Sunday. Sean had security take me to a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. After the incident, she texted Combs a photo of the injury and right so you can remember. "You don't know when to stop. You have pushed it too far," Combs replied. Sir, she pushed it too far? Who's in court with the chance of life without parole? That would be you, motherfucker. That would be you. So that means you took it too damn far. Okay? Okay. Like, we're not doing this shit today. We're just not doing it. Just say sorry. I don't know why I deserve that you could care less if I was okay, Cassie responded. Combs watch freak out videos on commercial flight, terrified Cassie. You watched it on a commercial flight? Don't you have like a jet? Okay, Chad. Cassie Ventura felt mortified and trapped when she spotted Combs watching videos of her having sex as they flew on commercial jets. She testified they had been arguing during a 2013 trip to Cannes, France. And the flight home took an embarrassing turn. Ventura said he pulled up his freak out videos on his laptop that I thought were deleted. He was showing them with other people around. What the fuck is wrong with you? And you did this on a commercial flight. Do you not realize, sir, that all they would have to do is go to the database, okay, and find that flight, find out who was on that flight, and then bring them in as witnesses? You have to be out your rabbit ass mind. Okay. I say, you're embarrassing me. I was scared. I felt trapped. How do you get out of the situation? I felt trapped. She said she arranged to freak out for hours at the landing so he wouldn't get angry. If she did, she testified the videos would get released. Cassie testified she would get scared during freak-offs and Combs would injure her. Cassie Ventura testified that sometimes she would be afraid during the freak-off parties, which often turned violent. Sean would put his hands on me. He would push me down, kick me. She told the courtroom. There were other times if we were having a bad time, if I was scared of him, uncomfortable, typically I would leave and go out, leave back to the hotel. She said, when asked by prosecutors how often would Combs injure her during the freak-offs, she replied, too often. Combs tried to force a swingers lifestyle on Cassie with sex clubs, she said. Combs told his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, that having multiple sex partners was a lifestyle and turn on for the rapper, the witness. The witness said. What he told me is we could swap partners. So wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that you and Cassie can swap partners, but yet you handled her in the back of a Cadillac Escalade because she was flirting with another woman? Sir, are you that? You got to be out. Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that we all are clear. This piece of shit bastard handled Cass in the back of an Escalade for flirting with a woman, but yet he said to then girlfriend Cassie Ventura that having multiple sex partners was a lifestyle and a turn on for him, and that they could swap partners. Something just ain't right. Yolanda Cameron says, Braylon, my exact thoughts. Some men are weird because what they don't realize is that their daughters usually fall in love with men like their fathers. Exactly. And like I said, I'm not wishing any of this on the daughters. Not wishing that at all. I'm just bringing it home because at this point, we have to go there for the magnitude of how important this is for it to hit for y'all. Okay? Because when you bring up anybody else, people give two fucks about that. But God forbid somebody brings it to your doorstep. Like I said, who said this was unnecessary and unwarranted? When somebody was just trying to give a warning and you didn't listen to the warning, then later on down the line, you fucked up the ass with no lube and you bleeding and suffering because you didn't want to listen to a warning. This is what ends up happening. Now on the shorts, it's going to showcase my hands going this way, so I'll do it this way so it can show that way. Point being made, there was a lot of warnings being told. And because you didn't want to listen and dig in, congratulations, you played yourself. Oprah Winfrey said there's a pebble, there's a brick, there's a boulder, there's little signs for you to listen. And when you don't listen, there's no way for you to get back up. Because the force of the circumstances handled you instead of you handling the circumstances of the force that was coming your way. Moving on. Like I said, if it doesn't apply, let it fly, but if let it fly, must apply. Ventura said after a prosecutor asked if she was a swinger with Combs, this lifestyle includes sex club visits, which Ventura said she did, or when she didn't want to go, Combs still pressed the issue. The witness said some of the time he would try to turn the energy around and keep it positive, becoming playful and fun and not scared. Ventura said he would push me and try to convince me. When the prosecution asked why she drank so much at the sex club, Ventura responded, because I didn't want to be sober. Now, some sex clubs, they are private, right? They will never say who went in. But there are some sex clubs that there's a ledger. Like a guest book, you got to sign in your name, the date, and sometimes you got to give a code word. Who's to say that Cassie hasn't told the prosecution, the government, what sex clubs they went to? And who's to say those people who run those sex clubs were not contacted? And who's to say that they won't come in as witnesses? Diddy? Moving on. Can't. Trigger warning, everybody. Cassie said freak-offs gave her UTIs, mouth sores, and stomach problems. Cassie Ventura said that freak-offs would sometimes cause her to have urinary tract infections, mouth sores, and gastrointestinal issues. I'm going to read that sentence 2 more times. Cassie Ventura said that freak-offs would sometimes cause her to have urinary tract infections, mouth sores, and gastrointestinal issues. Cassie Ventura said that freak-offs would sometimes cause her to have urinary tract infections, mouth sores, and gastrointestinal issues. Okay. When we were having frequent freak-offs, they were back-to-back, and sometimes I would do a freak-off with the infection, she said. I tried to flush out with water. I got to the point where CIPRO, C-Pro, an antibiotic didn't work anymore. It was a mess. It was really painful for a long time, she added. I can't believe I actually dealt with that. You know what that tells me? Because Diddy had multiple women. There's this woman named the new baby that he has with the. By the way, she's a beautiful woman. I think she can do a lot better than Diddy. So that woman, Young Miami, many other women. So that lets me know from this testimony that if Cassie got UTIs, mouth sores, and stomach problems, that maybe some of the other women that he was sleeping with also got UTIs, mouth sores, and stomach problems. Moving on. Cassie will recover from freak-offs with massages and drugs. Cassie Ventura said after a freak-off, she would go back to Combs' place where they would have massages to take care of themselves. I had an addiction to opiates. So I would take pills to come down. She told the courtroom, I wanted to feel numb and not know what was going on in my mind. She said she got the drugs from a drug dealer who sometimes did the drugs with her at the beginning in 2007. When asked how she felt after a freak-out, Ventura said, I felt so tired, achy, dehydrated, not really eating too much. Emotionally, I felt empty, gross, like I did a job. Cassie describes panic over possible leak of sex video. Cassie Ventura recalled the panic she felt after first learning that the video of her having sex with another man Combs' direction might have leaked. Former girlfriend was hosting an event in Atlantic City in New Jersey, when someone I was working with said they saw a sexually explicit video of me, so I reached out to Sean. Ventura told jurors, I need you to call me ASAP according to a text message she sent Combs on March 9th of 2014. Ventura said that any leaked footage will put my career in jeopardy and cause great embarrassment to my mother and my family. Combs' mother and son arrived in pouring rain. King Combs, Sean, son of Sean Combs, held an umbrella for his grandmother, Janice Combs, mother of Sean Combs, as they arrived at court in the rain today. Says so much they're all in black. Like they know that they are going to the social funeral of her son, his dad. And if I'm not mistaken, I think one of the sons has a sexual assault case. Yes. Christian Combs, yep. Christian Combs. That's what I thought. I'm just bringing this up for context, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm just bringing this up for context. Now, this was last year. Okay. From Yahoo Entertainment, Christian Combs, Diddy's son, accused of sexual assault in a new lawsuit. Shonda Combs' son, Christian King Combs, that was the son helping his grandmother there, helping his grandmother Janice Combs, right? Has been accused of sexual assault in a new lawsuit, according to reports in the suit filed Thursday. Grace O. Mark alleges that rapper Christian Combs, or King Combs, 26, sexually assaulted her in late December 2022, according to filings from Los Angeles County Superior Court obtained by NBC News and Rolling Stone. Markai was working as a steward on a yacht chartered by the Combs family. Music mogul is being sued for premises liability because he allegedly chartered the yacht, plus aiding and abetting his youngest son. The alleged assault occurred days before Diddy put on star-studded New Year's Eve yacht party. In the lawsuit, Christian Combs is accused of sexual assault, sexual harassment, and causing emotional stress. The lawyer for Markai, Tyrone Blackburn, also represent Rodney Little Rod Jones, producer on Diddy's latest album, who accused the music mogul of sexual assault and harassment in February lawsuit. Christian Combs' lawyer calls lawsuit another lewd and meritless claim. In a statement shared with USA Today Friday, Aaron Dyer, the attorney for Shonda Combs and Christian King Combs, addressed the allegations revealed by Markai. This is just another lewd and meritless claim from Tyrone Blackburn, just like what he filed in the Rodney Jones lawsuit, which he has still not served. This complaint is filled with the same kind of manufactured lies and irrelevant facts that we come to expect from Blackburn, Dyer said. This is exactly why the federal judge in New York slapped him 2 days ago for pattern behavior of improperly filing cases in federal court to garner media attention. The mayor's defendants with scandalous allegations and pressured defendants to sell quickly, which is why he was referred to the disciplinary committee in the Southern District of New York. To continue, Dyer added that his team will be filing a motion to dismiss his outrageous claim. Christian Combs also was named in that lawsuit filed last month by Lil Rod. According to the complaint, Lil Rod witnessed the rapper drug and sexually assaulting a woman. At the time that lawsuit stated that complaint against Christian Combs were forthcoming. So what's in the lawsuit accusing Christian King Combs of sexual assault? According to reports, the lawsuit alleges Christian Combs allegedly pressured Markai to take a shot of tequila that he poured for her. Then Christian Combs' mood escalated after she suspected that the alcohol beverage was spiked. According to the suit, after that, Markai, trigger warning everybody, claims he groped her legs, breasts, anus, and portal. Lil Rod was allegedly on the yacht during the alleged assault. According to the reports of the lawsuit, he reported some of the exchange. The yacht allegedly includes Markai telling Combs to stop touching her. Later, Combs allegedly cornered her in the yacht cinema and groped her before attempting to force her to perform fellatio. He took off his clothes and began grabbing her. She claims in the suit per Alice, and she fought to get him off until somebody else walked in on the alleged incident. Interesting. Very interesting. He began grabbing her, she claims in the suit per the outlets, and she fought to get off him. Just like Cassie fought to get off his dad, P. Diddy, and there was a gash to her face. Birds of a feather flock together. The sins of the father lay upon the son. The sins of the mother lay upon the daughter. Markai said her mental health deteriorated significantly and caused a series of issues in her personal life after the alleged assault. The outlets reported of the lawsuit. So, like I said, just reporting the news. Just reporting the news, everybody. Just reporting the news. Okay? Now, A lot of people gonna think, Bray, you wrong for pulling that up. Y'all, you can look that up. We don't make up anything over here just to have a channel. Okay? So everybody keeps asking, where's the content? Where's the content? Where's the content? Content's out there. You're just not looking for it. And then right here from USA Today, or USA Weekly, USA Weekly, Diddy's son, Justin Combs, was named in lawsuit citing sex trafficking before being detained. Right here, according to court documents obtained by USA Weekly on Tuesday, March 26, Justin, 29, is one of the defendants alongside Diddy in an amended complaint brought on by music producer Lil Rod Jones. In the new docs, the phrase sex trafficking is mentioned 50 times. There we go. What the hell is going on here? Right here, looks like what? On Monday, March 25th, Homeland Security raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami, reportedly in connection with a federal sex trafficking investigation. Justin was detained alongside his younger brother, Christian Combs, the one who has a sexual assault case. One that I just read about, 25, following the search of the California property. While it's unclear if Diddy was on property at the time of the raid, the rapper was spotted at the Miami International Airport. This hours later, per a videotape by TMZ, both Justin and King were released without charges. Just wanted to bring that into the timeline, ladies and gentlemen. All right, back to our timeline, rather, from NBC News. By the way, shout out to NBC News, doing a great job, and to all of the reporters, the bloggers. I saw a video with Tisha Tales in New York. Shout out to all the content creators making it do what it do for sure there. So here we go there. Cassie says Combs blackballed her with sex videos from freak-offs. Cassie Ventura said that when Combs was upset with her, he would frequently remind her that he had videos of her having sex at his freak-offs. She said that Combs brought the videos on the night of her birthday when she refused to leave for friends to go to Combs to a freak-off. So, you mean to tell me that you really couldn't just be still? Even on her birthday, you still had to be an asshole. Okay. It was horrible and disgusting. No one should do that to anyone, she said of the alleged black male. It could ruin everything I worked for. It could make me look like a nut. I was supposed to be on those videos, she said. I didn't want to be in them. Cassie's freak also fueled by ketamine. Ketamine was the drug of choice for Combs and Cassie Ventura during their G's with sex workers. He told the court, ketamine, Sean, it took time out of the freak off, she said. Ventura testified about having sex with other men at Combs' discretion as he watched. That was my preferred drug because it was the most associative. So I think Pete Davidson took this. Yep, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So, Pete Davidson talked about this, right? He was at Aretha Franklin's funeral. No joke. Look at this right here. He was on ketamine at Aretha Franklin's funeral, and so this is an anesthetic, right? So this is also used on horses. Okay. And here it is right here. Pete Davidson has reportedly experimented with ketamine, a horse tranquilizer. Let's roll on, shall we? The prosecution showed Ventura a dozen photos of ex-workers hired for these freak-offs. Ventura remembered many, but not all the names, such as Ash, Islander, Skylar, and Jake from the website Cowboys for Angels. don't remember his name. He looks familiar from the freak off. She said of one picture. Now, of course, I'm not going to show Cowboys and Angels, just like Mattel did Wicked.com to promote the movie Wicked. Turns out that was an adult site. Okay, so I would love to show for contextual reasons, but YouTube believes that if you try to do anything like promote a particular platform that also has a YouTube channel, YouTube, you know what damn platform I'm talking about. I won't say the name. Or if you show off a website like Cowboys for Angels, they think you're promoting, where you're just trying to add context, conjecture, and connection to a story. Moving on. Cassie says she covered up black eye, fat lip, and bruised legs for movie premiere. The court is now looking at text messages and photos shortly after the hotel attack took place. Cassie Ventura said she had to attend the premiere for her movie The Perfect Match with bruises on her face and body. She said she thought at the time Combs was sick to think that it was okay to do that to her and wanted him to stay away. The court was shown a photo of Ventura and Combs smiling at the premiere. She said she had to change her outfit to cover the bruises on her legs and need to apply line makeup to cover her black eye, fat lip. Now, The Perfect Match, I think, starred Terrence J from BET's 106 & Park. So I'm wondering if Terrence J will be brought into this. Because, 106 & Park was the show. And Diddy, let me just see something real quick. I just want to see something real quick. Oh, would you look at this right here? Look at here, 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 look at here. Well then. Terrence J might be in court. Moving on. Combs banged and kicked the door at Cassie's apartment after hotel incident. Combs pounded on Cassie Ventura's apartment door, demanding to see his then girlfriend after assaulting her in a Los Angeles hotel in 2016. So wait a minute. So after you did what you did to Cassie at the hotel, you still want to incriminate yourself more. And you said to Cassie that she takes it too far. When your ass is the one on trial, potentially sentenced to life. That means you're going to die in jail. Oh, child, okay. Ventura isn't still sure how Combs got to the 17th floor of her Westwood apartment building. Called the scene chaos outside the door, banging, kicking, yelling, and banging. He didn't get inside. Thank God he did. Cassie describes hotel attack and says Combs told her she wasn't going to leave him. Cassie Ventura described how Combs lost control during a 2016 meltdown in a Los Angeles hotel hallway, hurling a vase that just missed her. I don't remember his exact words. She told the court, "I'm sure he was calling me something other than my name." Scary was eventually called, but Combs allegedly made himself clear that Ventura wasn't free to leave on her own accord. The defendant told Ventura that wasn't going to leave him, that I could point to Ventura. Prosecution accuses Combs lawyers of trial by ambush he had exchanged before. Ventura retook the witness stand. Prosecutors and defense lawyers clash over how much notice each side deserves about upcoming trial strategy. So, once again, let's go back to this dumb piece of shit bastard of Marco Fellio. Right here, because he said this.
U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
I'm just saying. Did Mark Felio's team know that he was going to be on this TMZ documentary at all? I think one of the people was on a podcast with Harvey Levin and said that the prosecution was a six-pack of white women. And that person talks today from time to time. Was that giving notice to the prosecution? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Give me 1 second. Here it is. Here it is right here.
Up to 23% by bundling your home and auto with us.
No. No.
Again, Brian?
No.
There we go.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So stop it. Back to NBCnews.com here. Assistant U.S. Attorney Marie Comey was noticeably angry as she lashed out at the defense for allegedly not turning over exhibits it was planned to use to question Ventura. We don't want a trial by ambush. But defense attorney Mark Fellow insisted his side doesn't need to tip its hand about how it will cross-examine prosecution witness. They have the burden of proof. We don't want to give the government what they're going to use so they can prepare their witness. Sir, once again, you are the dumb fuck who went on a publicly available documentary, The Indictment of Diddy, that's now available to stream on Tubi, and said that
1,000 came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
You said that, and you're upset about Assistant U.S. Attorney Marie Comey lashing out at you when you said that? Sir, they have the burden of proof. Sir, no, y'all have the burden of proof. Y'all strategy is, did he commit a crime or not? And you have the woman who made a lawsuit that your dumb fuck client settled the next fucking day. You piece of shit bastard. My God. What's wrong? I'm saying the quiet part out loud, y'all. Okay, listen. U.S. District Court Judge Arnett Surian denied the government's request that the defense turn over what expects to use for Ventura's cross. Looking like the damn Keebler elf. Don't make no damn sense. Well, I do declare he looks like Jeff Sessions. Well, I do declare that I am a Keebler elf, and I do the fudge stripe cookies, and they are delicious. You should go get some today. Look at that. Combs and Cassie enter. Court resumes for the day. Combs, Cassie Ventura, the jury have entered the courtroom to begin today's proceedings. Combs is wearing a gray sweater over a white shirt. Cassie is wearing light gray dress with a jacket with wide lapels. For the second day in a row, she walks into the courtroom without looking toward Combs at the defense table. Cassie resumes testifying. Cassie will return to the witness stand today, where prosecutors are expected to resume questioning her on the 2016 assault viewed on hotel surveillance cameras. Combs' former girlfriend was mostly composed during hours of testimony yesterday, despite breaking down in tears at one point while discussing the emotional toll of trying to keep Combs happy and avoid distemper. Cassie, now married to someone else, is visibly pregnant and took several steady breaths while answering uncomfortable questions all day. She described how Combs' constant demand for freak-offs or drug-fueled sexual encounters left her feeling worthless. I didn't want him to be upset or not trust me, she told the court. He was a scary person. He would be violent. Then right here, Cassie testified abuse and humiliation from freak-offs. The R&B singer Cassie gave uncontrollable testimony yesterday during the sex trafficking trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, detailing allegations of physical abuse and control that included days-long drug-fueled sexual encounters with male escorts under his direction. I felt pretty horrible about myself. I felt disgusting. I felt humiliated. Cassie, whose real name is Cassie Ventura, said in a federal courtroom the lower my hand, describing how at times Combs' eyes would go black. The version I knew of him was no longer there. Ventura, the star's prosecutor witness, whose 2023 lawsuit against Combs became a framework for the government's smaller case against him, took the stand for several hours on the trial's second day, wearing a modest, long-sleeve brown dress accentuating her pregnant belly. Ventura, 38, remained mostly calm and soft-spoken. And that is your updates on day 3 of the Diddy trial there, ladies and gentlemen. So, a lot going on. A lot going on there for sure. So right here, let's do this here. Here we go. abcnews.com.
Combs faces 5 criminal counts, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs has vociferously denied the allegations against him. ABC News' Rena Roy has more from the courthouse in Manhattan.
Day 2 of dramatic testimony in the federal racketeering and sex trafficking case of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Singer Cassie Ventura back on the witness stand testifying against her ex-boyfriend. An 8 months pregnant Ventura described her decade-long relationship with Combs. She says was plagued by jealousy, violence, and, quote, humiliating sex. Telling the jury about so-called freak-offs, saying she felt like she had no choice but to participate in those drug-fueled sex marathons that often lasted for days. If she refused to participate, she testified she feared making Combs angry. A prosecutor asking, "What did Sean do when he was angry?" Ventura responding, "He would be violent with me." The one time she did try to leave, she testified that things did in fact get violent. She says Combs gave her a black eye, so she grabbed her things and tried to leave, and says that's where this 2016 video in a Los Angeles hotel picks up. Jurors shown the footage once again, which shows Combs kicking and dragging Ventura. Testifying today, Ventura says when she got home, a friend noticed she had a black eye and swollen lip and called police. But she said she didn't want to tell officers what she says Combs had done, so police left. That night, Ventura telling jurors she attended a premiere wearing sunglasses to cover up her eye and makeup to cover the bruising on her face.
In this particular case, the prosecution is trying to show that Mr. Combs, along with assistants and his security members and other members of his staff, were aware that they were giving illegal drugs out, that they were taking individuals such as Cassie and others against their will to do these sexual acts.
They ended their relationship in 2018. The defense argues Ventura chose to stay with Combs for a decade and chose to participate in those sexual encounters. Combs has maintained those sexual encounters were consensual and has pleaded not guilty to all charges against him.
Wait a minute, I'm a little confused. This is the trial happening in New York. Why is she in Los Angeles? Was that a mistake?
All right, Rita Roy, thank you. For more, let's bring in ABC News legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer. Brian, now the jury was shown images and videos of the freak-offs today, but the judge denied the request from ABC News and other organizations to play that inside the court. Now, what more do we know about those images, and what the jury, well, rather how the jury reacted to them?
Yeah, so I was there when someone from the press came up and made the arguments as to the fact that we need to see the videos, us as reporters. So at the very least, we can come on and explain to viewers, because it's federal court and cameras are not allowed in there. But as you said, the judge denied that. It's what I tell people is, it's one thing to hear a conversation about a freak off, a sexual act, sexual assault, things of that nature. It's another thing to see it. As a former homicide public defender and attorney myself, I've had to walk across to the DA's office to look at video that you can't even send over the airways. When I'm at home, my 3-year-old son and my wife know they can't even come into my office sometimes, because there might be something that they should never see. And for the jury and the average person, you don't see images like this. And so they're hearing conversations about what they are, but what we're hearing in court that they're seeing, some raised eyebrows, some people taken aback, deep gulps. It's a very jarring thing to see, and I think it gives greater context to the testimony in the case.
Now, Cassie, back on the stand again for a second day, talking in detail about her participation in these freak-offs. Now, the jury, they also saw text messages between Combs and Ventura. Is this helping the prosecution prove that Cassie was not a willing participant?
Yeah, so I think the big word here is coercion. And I think it's not just what is being said, but how it's being said. Because as I sit in court, I actually think reading the transcripts and seeing what's said is more jarring. And what's interesting to me is, as Cassie testifies about what happened to her, she's so matter of fact about it, so blunt about it. It's like, yeah, I had to call this person because I had a freak off, and then we had sex and I had a UTI, and I wouldn't advise anyone of doing that, because this is her life. It's such like it happened. And it's so plainly said. And as I'm listening to her at what she's talking about, reading and seeing the text messages and hearing her describe why she had to make Sean Combs happy because she was fearful of what could happen, the experiences that she had when she did not make Sean Combs happy and tried to get away, you could truly see, I think, as her testimony is coming out, that this could be an individual that was actually trafficked.
Seemingly dystopian. Brian, thank you for that.
There it is there. Thank you for that for sure. Now we're going to go to a little bit longer of a clip here from ABC News here. Let me get that up for you all. Here we go.
Good evening, I'm Eva Pilgrim. Thanks for streaming with us. Day 3 of testimony wrapping up in the federal racketeering and sex trafficking case against Sean Diddy Combs. Cassie Ventura, Sean Combs' former girlfriend, and the prosecution's key witness, was back on the stand for a second day with more explicit testimony. She testified more about that now infamous 2016 incident at the hotel, describing the circumstances before, during, and after. Cassie saying Combs beat her as she tried to escape a freak-off that turned violent. Prosecutors also introducing images they allege showed damage from a vase Combs threw at Cassie during that attack. She also testified the drug-fueled sex parties eventually turned into pornography shoots, with Combs setting up video equipment for blackmail recordings. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. He faces life in prison if convicted. We have our team of reporters and analysts closely following the case from inside the courtroom. Plus, we're also doing a deep dive into some of the most searched topics related to this high-profile trial, and a warning that some of Cassie Ventura's testimony may be difficult for viewers to hear. We begin, though, with the latest from inside that courtroom. Our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Koturski, is outside the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Aaron, Cassie Ventura recounted explicit details of these alleged freak-offs and the psychological impact. What more did we learn today?
Cassie Ventura, Eva, broke down on the witness stand as she described how her abusive, nearly 11-year relationship with Sean Combs left her drug addicted and psychologically damaged. She was made to participate, she said, in hundreds of freak-offs, these sexual performances with male prostitutes, while Sean Combs recorded them, using the video, she said, as leverage. And by the end of their relationship, she said she was suicidal, she was in trauma therapy, she was having episodes of PTSD, and she remembered for the jury just wanting Sean Combs to understand. She wrote down what she thought would be chapters of a book. She wanted him to read them, to understand the pain he had caused. Eventually, she sued him and revealed today for the first time that they settled the lawsuit for $20 million.
And what was the jury's reaction to what she was saying today?
The jurors were quite moved.
Yep, that was a mistake. They should have did New York City, not LA. So that was not Rena Roy's fault. That was not that anchor's fault. That was whoever put this graphic here. This is a lower third here, and then this is, like the live tag that you see. Okay.
She recalled an instance toward the end of their relationship in 2018 when she alleged that Sean Combs raped her in her own apartment on the floor. She said it was quick and he lost the color in his eyes. His eyes went black, and she told him no. She told him she didn't want to. She said she didn't even know if he hurt her. He just kept going until he finished and then simply left. It was the second to last time that she had seen him in the course of their nearly 11-year relationship. But the jury's most vivid reaction, Eva, came when they were shown explicit images from some of the videos that Cassie said she was made to record of the freak-offs. There were 7 images. One juror appeared to move his neck as if taken aback.
Let me pause it here. Good evening, Braylon chat. Possibly face life in prison. This is deeper than what they are laying out to the public. I can see 30 to 50 years, in my opinion. That could be possible. I did say that, the first 2 days were very light, and we don't know what we don't know as of yet. So it's just getting started. Good evening, everybody. Welcome in and glad to have you here. We are on day 3 of the day trial here, Cassie Ventura part 2. She will be back on the stand tomorrow for part 3. Glad to have you here. We're watching the burden of proof, the case against Dave from ABC News here. So let me go on about just a little bit and go.
But the jury's most vivid reaction, Eva, came when they were shown explicit images from some of the videos that Cassie said she was made to record of the freak-offs. There were 7 images. One juror appeared to move his neck as if taken aback. Another juror raised an eyebrow. Another appeared to shake a head. Sean Combs wanted to see those images. He grabbed a binder that they were contained in, leaned over towards his attorney to flip through them.
Goodness, the details of all of this trial are very graphic. Combs' family is in this courtroom listening to it all. Cassie's husband is there in court as well. How are the family members reacting to hearing this?
Alex Fine, Cassie Ventura's husband, at one point just looked over at Sean Combs, seemed to glare at him when...
That's a husband glare of, thank God you are where you are, I'm where you are, because otherwise I will handle you disrespectfully. That's what that stare was. That's what that glance was. That's what that mental fuckery was. Okay?
When some of these explicit details come out. Other times, he doesn't even seem to acknowledge him in the courtroom, just looks straight at his wife as if to make sure she is okay. And notably today, Eva, after such graphic testimony from Cassie Ventura about decades worth of sexual activity, Sean Combs' daughters were not here. There were fewer members of the Combs family here to support him.
Oh, wow.
He interacted with them, mouths, I love you, makes the same gestures he's made for the last couple of days. But some of this testimony clearly has been too much, especially for Combs' daughters.
One of the other things we heard Cassie tell the jury was about her brief relationship with hip-hop star Kid Cudi. What did she say about that?
This is an establishment of one of the acts of the racketeering conspiracy that prosecutors have alleged. It was 2011, and Cassie Ventura said she and Sean Combs were not in a good place, so she briefly began dating Kid Cudi, and said that at one point Sean Combs found out after they had a freak off because he saw her phone, saw some emails that she had written about Kid Cudi, and he became enraged about it and threatened at one point to blow up his car. And Cassie Ventura recalled Combs telling her that he wanted Kid Cudi's friends to be there to watch the car blow up. And one of the racketeering conspiracy acts that Sean Combs is accused of is arson.
And we have to note here that Sean Combs' lawyers say that he had nothing to do with that car bombing. Aaron Katursky there at the courthouse for us.
The lawyers say that he had nothing to do with the car bombing, but in the lawsuit, they go into detail about that. And who's to say that Kid Cudi may not be a witness? Because if Kid Cudi comes into that courtroom and says everything that he says, motherfucker, let's roll on.
Thank you so much for breaking this all down. And to continue with this, we bring in our ABC News legal contributor and trial attorney, Brian Buckmeyer. You were also there in the courtroom again today. So tell me, what do you think of the prosecution? Are they making the link between what Cassie is saying there on the stand and the charges that Diddy is facing?
Absolutely, and they're beginning to do so. We're going to start off with that top charge of racketeering and just give you a legal definition. I'll break it down in simpler terms. Racketeering is basically when two or more people conspire to commit criminal acts that in furtherance of that criminal enterprise. And so when I'm talking about the links, we hear about the criminal act that's funneled by the freak-offs, the rape, the sexual assault, the videotaping, the threats of violence, as also threats of humiliations, of putting out those videos if Cassie was to say anything. And then we kind of think about the criminal enterprise, right? Today, we heard about 13 different escorts and dancers that were hired from different states all across the country. Those are the people who are participating in the freak-offs. And then we heard about some of the damage that comes from them and the harm that follows, as well as Cassie, when she took the stand, she pointed to a photo, not this one exactly.
Let me pause this because I want to go back for a minute, my thoughts, because you weren't here for this, or maybe you were in the bushes. But let me go back right here. Before Cassie Ventura retook the witness stand, prosecutors and defense lawyers clash over how much notice each side deserves about upcoming trial strategy. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Coleman was noticeably angry as she lashed out at the defense for allegedly not turning over exhibits it was planning to use it to question Ventura. We don't want a trial by ambush, but defense attorney Mark Afelio assisted his side doesn't need to tip its hand about how it will cross-examine prosecution witnesses. They have the burden of proof. Like I said, Cassie did a lawsuit. They settled the next day. And then I think it was you or somebody said that him selling doesn't mean anything. Well, if it didn't mean anything, why did you come out and say it? We don't have to give the government what they're going to use, what we are going to use so they can prepare their witness. U.S. District Court Judge Aaron Samirin denied the government's request that the defense turn over what it expects to use for Ventura's cross. So basically, you're trying to drag down a woman's pain that has been showcased to the public through the world of social media and media in general and every platform that could be possibly created. And this lawsuit brought many more lawsuits. I think he had 400 lawsuits. And you're right. This is the same lawyer that said this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to keep repeating this because I think the prosecution should bring this clip in. I really do. Roll it.
The number 1,000 came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
Yeah. Let's roll on, child. Here we go.
Exactly, but one of that night where they're wearing the same dress, and said after one of these brutal nights, she had a bruising on her right leg, and she was able to point out in court where she believed that those bruises were. So the defenses definitely have their work cut out for them because the prosecution is making some strong arguments.
Yeah, and the prosecutors also introduced, we heard Aaron just mention it, those explicit images of these freak-offs. Cassie's testifying they happened in multiple states and residences. What's their strategy here with all this?
So again, going back to those escorts and dancers, they were from Las Vegas, LA, Miami, New York. One of the major reasons why this is a federal case is because they're talking about crossing over state lines, that they themselves went to these different locations or hire these individuals to come to various locations, both domestically and internationally, to participate in these alleged freak-offs. And that's where we get a lot of the racketeering and the sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. And of course, that last charge, the transportation to engage in prostitution.
All right, so how do you think the defense is going to counter the testimony that we've heard so far?
So an interesting thing that the defense is doing is they're trying to make a distinction between sex trafficking and domestic violence. They're saying that it is domestic violence. Sean Combs has done what Tenny Garrigo said in her opening statements, some indefensible things, but it's not this. It's not sex trafficking. And one of the things that they point at is that infamous video that we all saw, but they're looking at some of the raw footage. And they're saying that when Sean Combs did this violence, Sean Combs has...
So here's the thing, right? If Diddy, which he did, told Cassie to go get escorts, right, for these freak-offs, transportation, right, obtaining, patronizing, soliciting, recruitment, harboring, which you did harbor Cassie, and provisions, which means basically making ways for things to happen, for the purpose of a commercial sex act. You paid these sex workers for these freak-offs. Once again, the defense is led by this dumb fuck who said this shit right here.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know.
Let's go back. Roll it.
Done what Tenny Garrigo said in her opening statements, some indefensible things, but it's not this. It's not sex trafficking. And one of the things that they point at is that infamous video that we all saw, but they're looking at some of the raw footage. And they're saying that when Sean Combs did this violent assault of Cassie, and they're not denying it, not denying the injuries, that instead he was doing it to get his cell phone.
Wait, they're not denying it? Because they said it was artificial intelligence before. Roll on.
Now, Cassie testified on the stand that she believes that this was her cell phone, but the way the defense is articulating this is there was violence, there was domestic abuse, there might even been rape, but it was about jealousy, infidelity, and money. It wasn't about a criminal enterprise. It wasn't about...
How was it about infidelity when Diddy said that he was involved in a swingers lifestyle, they could swap partners? Rolling on.
Trafficking. That's the argument that they're going to make when cross-examination starts tomorrow of Cassie and going forward in this case.
Brian Buckmeyer, thank you. We'll come back to you in just a bit. Cassie Ventura today, again, as we said, detailing that alleged abuse, testifying Sean Combs turned the freak-off videos into blackmail. Combs denies the federal charges. His defense claiming his violent acts are domestic violence, as Brian just said, but not evidence of sex trafficking and racketeering. But prosecutors have said the jury will hear a similar story from another alleged victim they're calling Jane. Let's bring in Maria Cruz Melendez, a former federal prosecutor who also served as one of the lead prosecutors in the case against R. Kelly. Maria, thank you so much for being here. Let's get right to this. What's the government trying to establish here with Cassie's testimony?
Essentially, the government is trying to establish a pattern of abuse. And the reason this is important is because at the end of the day, each one of these charges will hinge on whether or not they can show that Sean Combs essentially overcame Cassandra Ventura's will. So whether or not there was coercive control that resulted in her staying in, and at the end of the day, with regard to racketeering, with regard to forced labor, sex trafficking, and even the transportation of prostitution, getting from her mouth exactly what happened to her is key. And I think at the end of the day, as previously mentioned, having other individuals who can testify to what they saw as well, and also that this type of conduct happened to other individuals is going to be really important in establishing the pattern of racketeering that the government has alleged here.
And to that point that you just raised, Cassie testified today that she saw Diddy inflict violence on others. Why does that matter here?
The reason that's important is because of this distinction that defense counsel is trying to make at this point, that this is simply about domestic violence, that it's about what happened between Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura. But once you've brought in other victims, once you brought in the fact that violence may have been perpetrated against staff, against assistants, against other individuals who felt that they also had to assist Combs in the crimes that have been alleged by the government, then you're getting closer to establishing not only an enterprise, but that there's in fact been a pattern of racketeering.
You brought your case against R. Kelly also for racketeering and sex trafficking. So you know what it takes to go up against a powerful, wealthy defendant. What are the similarities and the differences that you see here?
Yeah, I think there are a number of similarities. At the end of the day, we have a high-profile defendant. We had that in both cases. We have a situation in which allegations included coercive control, taking individuals under their wing, using that as a form of control, using physical abuse, psychological abuse, and other forms. During my opening statement in the R. Kelly case, I talked about the predator's hand.
Let me pause it here. This man knew what he did was wrong. That's why he sent her out the country. He beat the crap out of her. As God's good grace, so she is not unalive, in my opinion. Exactly.
Handbook, and using all those types of methods in order to control individuals. I think some of the differences, of course, that you see is that in the R. Kelly case, a number of our victims, the majority of our victims, were minors. Here you have a situation in which that's not the case. And I think that distinction can sometimes make a difference if you need to convince a jury that a successful adult woman was controlled by someone like Sean Combs. And that takes us back to this pattern, understanding all of the abuse that has been alleged and that Cassie Ventura has been testifying to, and how that overcame her will such that she was unable to leave, to say no, and in fact had to do everything that Combs told her to do.
Maria Cruz Melendez, thank you so much for being with us. Still ahead, time to talk strategy. How's each side making its case, and how might that play with the jury? We'll be right back. Welcome back to ABC News Live. We are wrapping up day 3 of testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. For the second day in a row, the prosecution calling Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, to the stand. Emily Johnson from the U.S. Attorney's Office asking Cassie, how frequently did Sean put his hands on you during freak-offs? Ventura responding, too frequently, a lot. Brian Buckmeyer joins me now again alongside fellow ABC News legal contributor Bernarda Villalona. Bernarda, you used to be a prosecutor. Brian, you're a defense attorney. So I want you both to sort of paint a picture for us of what it would be like for these lawyers who are in this courtroom right now. Bernarda, let's start with you. What do you think the prosecutors are wanting the jurors to take away from Cassie's testimony?
Well, the prosecutors, they're doing the best that they can in terms of getting the emotion out there. They want the jury to feel what Cassie felt living in her shoes each of those days that she was part of a freak off, that she was on drugs, that she was drinking alcohol, that she was beating viciously by Puff Daddy Combs. So that's what they want, because they want that emotional attachment for that jury when they go into deliberations to fight for her and fight for the prosecution to return a guilty verdict. But they also want the jury to know that, look, she may have been in this relationship for years, but it's because she was under the manipulation and the control of Sean Combs that she remained in that relationship, not knowing any better that she was an actual victim and that she should have walked away.
All right, Brian. So as a defense attorney, you're watching this witness on the stand. What are you looking for?
So I'm looking to see how she describes events, how she describes her participation in this relationship, describes her participation, in the freak-offs. And I'm trying to find the avenues where I can say, yes, you were absolutely abused. No one's disputing that. But the decision to go across state lines, the decision to participate in these freak-offs, you did that because you loved him and you wanted to be with him. You understood this relationship, but it was a violent relationship. Why did you go off and do these freak-offs? Why did you go across state?
Now, I'm going to pause it here and poke holes in Brian Buckmeyer's point of view here. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean that they love you back. And sometimes it's a fight or flight situation. So that's decent for the defense. But also, too, we heard in today's testimony that Diddy said that she would never be leaving him. So, Brian Buckmeyer, I know that you are a legal contributor, and I'm just a citizen, but we're both black and we both know what it is. You have a job to do, and I have a job to do as well. But that theory that you just showcased on ABC News Live is bullshit. Now, I'm calling you bullshit because obviously it takes a lot of smarts and intelligence, and well, smarts and intelligence are two different things, right? But it takes a lot of vitality to understand the minutia of law. So I just want to give Brian Buckmeyer credit, but that's not going to work. R. Kelly said he was going to tell everybody he may be singing. That's true too. That would be interesting if R. Kelly came into this as a witness. Because even though P. Diddy did R&B, even though P. Diddy did rap and R. Kelly did R&B and rap have collided many, many times over. So very well said point there. My thoughts there. Okay, here we go.
State lines, because it was a part of the relationship and it wasn't part of control. But when you got there, the part of the relationship when you went out for dinner, when you went to freak-offs, when you went to award ceremonies, he beat you because he's a domestic abuser, but he's not a sex trafficker. It's about making a very logical distinction between the two to try to say he's guilty of something, but not what he's being charged of.
I saw you moving. You're shaking your head there. I mean, how do you make the discern from someone who wanted to be there and someone who's abused? I mean, they showed pictures of some of these freak-offs today. How do you make that clear?
Well, they're not just going to make it clear with Cassie, because they are going to call other witnesses. And more importantly, one of the most important witnesses is expert that's going to testify about women that have been abused before and why they will decide to stay in a relationship, even though they're being abused by their abuser. So try to explain this type of syndrome. To me, it's like battered wife syndrome, right? A sexual assault victim, that it takes a while for a person to be strong enough, one, to realize that they were a victim, two, that they're ready to walk away, and three, that they have the power and they'll be okay if they walk away. So you're still going to hear from that witness. But I think more importantly is that when we're talking about things that you and I would normally think, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't agree to that. When we're talking about having sex while she's on her menstrual cycle, or having sex while she has a sexual UTI, or having sex while someone's urinating on her, like it sparks the conscience, shocks the conscience. So that's one of the main arguments that the prosecution is going to drive through and drive home to the jury at the end of this case, to be like, no one in their right mind will agree to this type of behavior.
Absolutely. But real quick, and Bernardo, I think, is saying it better, far better than the government is doing. Nothing but Bernardo said was about trafficking. Everything that Bernardo just talked about was about domestic abuse. And I think the defense can say, yes, all of that is true. And that's what we call domestic violence, but that's not trafficking.
Do you think they have to make the distinction there, Bernardo?
Oh, they absolutely. I mean, the prosecution is not there yet. I think they've made an excellent case for domestic violence. But baby, we are here on federal charges. So you're going to have to prove the racketeering conspiracy. Yep. You're going to have to prove the sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. You're going to have to prove the transportation to engage in prostitution. And I think right now, and again, this is only day 3 of testimony, they haven't gotten to that racketeering conspiracy. I think that in terms of the other 2 charges, you haven't gotten there beyond a reasonable doubt. This is not a civil lawsuit. You have a burden, and that burden is beyond a reasonable doubt, and you're going to have to meet it with some evidence.
And we got a lot longer to go. Bernardo Villalona, Brian Buckmeyer, thank you both for being here with us. Coming up, who is Alex Fine, and what happened with Suge Knight? Those are some of the most searched questions online about this case. We'll have the answers for you when we come back. Welcome back. More on the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs in just a moment. But first, here's a quick look at some of the other big court cases we're following. It's day 15 in the high-profile Karen Reed murder retrial. Reed is accused of killing her then-boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, in January 2022. O'Keefe's 17-year-old niece on the stand today describing her uncle's relationship with Reed as rocky. She also recalled Reed at one point saying, "Could I have done something?" The Alec Murdaugh double murder case back in the spotlight. The former clerk of court, Becky Hill, who worked on that trial, has been charged with felony misconduct as well as perjury. She's out on bond tonight. She's accused of sharing sensitive sealed photos of the Murdaugh crime scene and then lying about it during an appeal hearing. She has denied any wrongdoing. Murdaugh is serving a life sentence for the murders of his wife and son. Victory for the Menendez brothers, the judge resentencing them to 50 years to life, making them immediately eligible for parole. The brothers were serving sentences of life without the possibility of parole for murdering their parents in 1989. They are already scheduled to appear in front of the parole board on June 13th, but even if they are granted immediate parole, and that's not a given, it could be months before they are actually released. Now back to the trial against Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most highly anticipated trials of the year, and web searches show that people have a lot of questions about it. So what do they want to know? Our Kelly Carter covers entertainment and pop culture for us. She is here to break it all down for us. All right, Kelly. So based on our ABC web search data, on the heels of today's testimony, one of the most popular searches tonight, people want to know about Kid Cudi's relationship with Cassie. Walk us through this.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is before Cassie filed her civil suit back in 2023, we didn't know that she and Kid Cudi dated. What she has told us and what we have learned through that civil suit filing and of course in court today is that when she was in an on-again, off-again relationship with Sean Combs, she at some point started dating the rapper and actor and she ended it because she was afraid. You know, she said that, you know, she alleges that Sean threatened violence and had gone as far to blow up his car. And when that civil suit came out, you know, Kid Cudi's team released a statement and said that is absolutely what happened, you know. So this was all kind of new information for, I think, the people following pop culture about them being, you know, potentially a couple back then. And we should note Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, including about this alleged car bombing incident. Mm-hmm. Okay, another search that's trending again today is who is Alex Fine, Cassie's husband? People also want to know about the timeline of their relationship. What do we know about this? We know that they met in 2018 in a gym, and at some point he started training Sean and then started training Cassie. You know, Alex, of course, is originally from Michigan, former college football player, who then became a celebrity personal trainer, training people like Jennifer Aniston and even Saquon Barkley of the Eagles. And so he, you know, met Cassie, and their relationship seemed to have, you know, taken off because by 2019, they're engaged, married, and having a baby. And they met in 2018. Okay, another interesting search. What happened with Suge Knight? Yeah, so Suge Knight, of course, is one of the co-founders of Death Row Records. He currently is serving a 28-year sentence for voluntary manslaughter for a hit-and-run incident that happened in 2015. And I think people, if they're trying to make the connection between Sean and Suge, it's that they were both these hip-hop impresarios of competing labels, and they have publicly beefed, you know, especially during the Tupac versus Notorious B.I.G. Tupac being Suge Knight's artist, Notorious B.I.G. being Sean Combs' artist. Another search we're seeing, where and who are Cassie's parents? Yeah, that's interesting, right? So we know that because she said in an interview, I think back in like 2008, that her parents, her mom, I believe, is an Army brat and dad is a Navy brat. And while we don't really know much about where they are right now, we know that she's from Connecticut, and we have seen her mom, you know, because when she hard launched, as the kids say on Instagram, her relationship with Alex Fine, it was in a photo with her mother. I thought that was interesting. You know, when she announced to the world that she was in a new relationship, her mother was also in that picture. And then, of course, her mom came up in the courtroom today when she said that she didn't want to be truthful with her mom about what was going on. All right, who needs Google when you have Kelly Carter? Kelly, thank you so much for being with us. Of course, thank you.
And thank you for joining us. We'll be back with new episodes every day of the trial. The show streams right here on ABC News Live, Disney Plus, and Hulu weekdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. For even more on the Diddy trial, make sure to follow our podcast, Bad Rap, The Case Against Diddy, hosted by our very own Brian Buckmeyer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. I'm Eva Pilgrim in New York. Have a good rest of your day.
There as we get ready to close out here, because I have a bonus show for you all here from Yahoo News, courtesy of Business Insider. Diddy's trial judge told prosecutors to move on from their flood of baby oil questions. Really though? Really? Okay. Sean Combs' lawyers objected Tuesday after prosecutors asked Ventura about baby oil 20 times. So wait a minute. The lawyers rejected the questions about the baby oil when this guy said this?
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
Let's roll on. Details of a private discussion at the judge's bench were released Tuesday night. A prosecutor at one point told the judge, "I will not ask any more oil questions." Sean Combs' defense lawyers objected Tuesday after prosecutors asked the R&B singer Cassie Ventura some 20 times about the baby oil she said the millionaire rapper demanded to be used in multiple freak-off sex performances. Details of the private at the bench discussion, during which the two sides debate on how many baby oil questions were too many, were released Tuesday night. At one point, Combs' lead lawyer took the opportunity to slide in a wisecrack. I was going to say a slippery slope. Once again, sir, a slippery slope? A slippery slope, really?
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
Now, I'm not saying if I was in the courtroom that I would, turn the volume up and play that specific clip to have Mark look back and be like, "Oh, shit. Excuse me, sir, what is that?" Oh, nothing. That's just Mark Aurelio saying one bottle of baby oil goes a long way. What? I don't think Mark could handle a Braylon Lee from Little Rock, Arkansas. Just saying. The city where 9 black kids went to school so everybody could get an education. Right here, the lawyer Mark Aurelio joked after the judge said prosecutors might be nearing the point of overkill on the topic, but I'm not going to say it. The defense objection and sidebar discussion briefly interrupted Ventura's first day testimony at Combs' federal racketeering sex trafficking trial in Manhattan. Prosecutors are using Ventura's very detailed testimony by items she said they were part of freak-offs, including baby oil, lubricants, candles, drugs, to bolster the charge that Combs personally orchestrated these elaborately planned days-long sex performances. Combs demand that heated Johnson's baby oil be available in large quantities for the nearly weekly encounters during which he would film male escorts and strippers having sex with Ventura, she said in her testimony and the indictment. Under questioning by prosecutor Emily Johnson, Ventura testified that everyone applied the baby oil. Combs said, she said, demanded participants be glistening. The defense raised the objection after Ventura described the freak-off she said happened at the Albatross Hotel Beverly Hills. Combs demanded that a blow-up pool be brought to the hotel suite and be filled with lube and oil. She told jurors to get in the pool. Johnson asked, "I did it with my outfit and my shoes," she said. "It was quite dangerous. It was his idea," she said. Combs, "I couldn't say no," she said, because he feared the fine temper. Were there freak-offs where you ran out of baby oil? Johnson said. At that point, Anna Efeso, a defense lawyer who was expected to cross-examine Ventura, objected, telling the judge that the testimony was getting a little cumulative. Let's see if we can wrap this up and move on. The judge responded, but when Johnson's next question involved the lubricant Astroglide, as Estaval objected again, the judge called for a sidebar. Astroglide was said in this case that he got baby oil Astroglide gel. That's a part of the case. Like, defense, are you big mad or no? Accessible objected again. The judge called for a sidebar outside the jury's hearing. The judge asked the prosecutor for some guidance where to go next. Johnson responded that she intended to go through the various supplies that were used, but because those are supplies that were demanded by a defendant that were every freak-off, the supplies were consistent and showed how he controlled the event that happened at these freak-offs. She told the judge, I will not ask any more questions. Ventura's testimony continued on Wednesday. It's expected to last until Thursday. On Wednesday morning, Ventura was shown the last 15 pictures of strippers and escorts she said were involved in the freak-offs over the course of a decade, when she started when she was in her early 20s. Did you have sex with all the individuals that we saw during the freak-offs? Ventura said yes. Ventura answered, her voice quiet, her expression grim. When who paid for the escorts? Ventura said Sean's money. So there you go there, everybody. That's our show. You know, I usually do the Daily Motivator during our 6 o'clock edition. Let me see if I can even read it quickly, but y'all know I like to have my points. Okay, we can do this one. Let's see. Come on. There we go. If you always done it that way, it's probably wrong. Charles Kennedy. It's time for the Daily Motivator for Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. Continuing good fortune. You have the good fortune to experience this one of a kind day. Enjoy and appreciate that good fortune. Though you're bested with certain challenges and difficulties, nothing has to get you down. Cheerfully and gratefully work your way forward. The past choices you've made brought you here. They have also given you growing wisdom, understanding, strength, and experience. Now you can continue more capable and knowledgeable than ever. Consider all that's meaningful in your life and apply your energy accordingly. Improve upon the improvements, learn and improve even, especially from the disappointments. Make it your intention improve on the improvements, learn and improve even, especially from the disappointments. Make it your intention to continue the good fortune with gratitude for what has been and the highest expectations for what can be. Keep going strong and well. Ralph Wilson. You know, I think continuing good fortune is by saying what needs to be said. A lot of times when it comes to cultural experiences like this, everything's not going to be clean cut dry. So the best way to continue in good fortune is to be good in the fortune that you're creating. That's the first thing I'll tell you. The second thing about continuing good fortune is this. Improve upon the improvements, learn and improve even, especially from the disappointments. I agree with that, but also to be at peace knowing that you've done all you can. Because some people, they don't want no help. They think they know everything. And they don't want to listen to other counsel besides their own. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him, he will direct your path. Some people do not want to lean into others because they feel if they lean to others that they don't have control. But actually, the best leaders know how to utilize a team and not be solo. Finally, with gratitude for what's been and the highest expectations for what can be, keep strong and keep going strong and well. With gratitude for what has been. If you're grateful for what has been, it determines your altitude and how high you go. And how high you go determines the range of blessings and curses that come your way. It's time for the best outro on YouTube, by the way. Know what you do and do what you know. Never say you want more special because you are always more blessed. And trust, you may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be. Do what you were chosen to do. Wise will then call yourself. Another thing, be chosen. One love, much love, all love. I have spent time with you. You have spent time with me. And hopefully, by spending time together, we'll be back together. And always remember, doing radio, television, YouTube, live your best life, or child, you're just recognizing that, listen, at some point in time, if we don't stand up for what's wrong and call it wrong, wrong will continue to be abound in the world. Make sure the replay is not just right for you watching, not just right for you listening to, but for you want to experience it again. I love you. I value you. I embrace you all. Always remember, receive love, you gotta give it, or receive love, you gotta give it, or receive love, you gotta give it. Wherever obstacles you have overcome, wherever success you have achieved upon this particular day, I'm extremely proud of you, but no one's proud of you. Be proud of you, damn. So finally, y'all, listen. Just recognize, just because you have power doesn't mean you get to abuse it. And that's on any level, okay? Commercial break and fireworks coming your way for the day that was, for the day that's come, for the blessed known way for you, me, all of us as a society, as people, as a culture. I feel the love and send it right back to you. This is your final tour for this evening. Good night to you, but I have a bonus show for you all tonight at 8:30. I'll see you all soon. Bye.
I thought I should tell you, they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you, and you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.